Joe Walsh's story begins in Wichita, Kansas, where he was born on November 20th, 1947, into a family that would soon face profound tragedy. His father, a flight instructor, tragically lost his life in a plane crash when Joe was just an infant. This devastating loss left a void in Joe's early years, shaping his perspective on life and fueling an emotional depth that would later define his music. Growing up without his father, Joe found solace in the world of music. At the age of 10, he discovered the electric guitar, an instrument that became his lifeline and creative outlet. His natural talent quickly became apparent, and he poured himself into learning, practicing, and experimenting with sound. In his formative years, Joe's family moved to Montclair, New Jersey, a change that exposed him to the thriving music scene of the 1960s. Influenced by bands like the Beatles and the Ventures, Joe was captivated by the emerging rock and roll sound. The intricate melodies and groundbreaking creativity of these groups inspired him to push the boundaries of his own musical expression. During high school, Joe's passion for music continued to grow. He played in a school band and began performing locally, earning a reputation as a gifted guitarist with an unmistakable flair. This early period of exploration not only honed his skills, but also laid the foundation for his future career. By the time Joe reached his teenage years, it was clear that music was more than a hobby. It was his calling. Despite the challenges he faced growing up, Joe's love for the electric guitar and his deep connection to music set him on a path toward rock and roll greatness. But as we'll see, the road to stardom would be anything but easy. On May 4th, 1970, Joe Walsh's life was forever altered by the tragic events that unfolded at Kent State University, where he was a student. What began as a peaceful protest against the Vietnam War quickly spiraled into chaos when National Guard troops opened fire on unarmed students. In a matter of moments, 4 students were killed and 9 others were injured. The shocking images of the shootings reverberated around the world, but for Joe, it was personal. It happened on his campus, among his peers. The Kent State shootings left an indelible mark on Joe's life, shaping his worldview and altering the course of his music career. As someone who had experienced loss at a young age with the death of his father, the tragedy at Kent State reopened wounds and deepened his understanding of the fragility of life. He witnessed firsthand how violence and political unrest could shatter communities, leaving scars that never fully heal. This pivotal moment became a turning point in Joe's life and sense of purpose. It ignited a deep reflection on societal issues and his role as an artist. Music, for Joe, was not just entertainment. It was a means of expression, a way to process pain, and a tool for change. The events of that day instilled in him a profound sense of responsibility to use his platform to convey messages of peace, unity, and resilience. Though Joe's early musical ventures with bands like the James Gang were already gaining momentum, the tragedy at Kent State gave his artistry a new depth. The anger, sorrow, and longing for a better world became underlying themes in much of his work. The haunting weight of that day would continue to influence Joe's songwriting and performances, fueling his drive to connect with audiences on a deeper, more meaningful level. The Kent State tragedy was more than a historical event for Joe Walsh. It was a formative experience that cemented his belief in the power of music to heal and inspire. As he moved forward in his career, the memory of that day served as both a somber reminder of the world's fragility and a motivation to strive for something greater. Joe Walsh's journey to becoming one of rock's most celebrated musicians began with his early success in the James Gang. Joining the band in the late 1960s as the lead guitarist, Joe's innovative style quickly made waves in the rock scene. With his signature guitar riffs and charismatic stage presence, Joe turned the James Gang into a powerhouse, crafting hits like Funk No. 49 and Walk Away. These songs showcased his ability to blend technical skill with raw emotion, creating a sound that was equal parts gritty and groovy. However, Joe's career skyrocketed to new heights when he joined the Eagles in 1975. The band was already a major force in the music world, but they were undergoing a critical transformation. Transitioning from their soft rock and country-inspired roots, the Eagles were evolving into a more guitar-driven, arena rock powerhouse. Joe's arrival marked a turning point, infusing the band with his hard-edged rock sensibilities and fearless creativity. One of Joe's most significant contributions came with the Eagles' 1976 album, Hotel California. The title track became not just a defining moment for the band, but a timeless classic in the annals of rock history. The haunting and enigmatic lyrics of Hotel California were brought to life by Joe's unforgettable guitar solo, co-crafted with Don Felder. The intricate dual guitar harmony and blistering lead lines elevated the song into a masterpiece. To this day, the solo remains one of the most celebrated in rock history, often cited as one of the greatest of all time. But Joe's impact on the Eagles extended beyond just his technical skills. His playful personality and infectious energy helped invigorate the band during an intense and demanding period of their career. Tracks like Life in the Fast Lane embodied his unique blend of humor and edge, perfectly complementing the band's increasingly ambitious sound. Joe's ability to balance raw power with artistic finesse made him an indispensable part of their lineup. With Joe in the fold, the Eagles achieved unparalleled success. Hotel California became one of the best-selling albums of all time, earning critical acclaim and numerous accolades. The band's ability to seamlessly blend storytelling, vocal harmonies, and electrifying instrumentation set a new standard for rock music in the 1970s, with Joe at the heart of their evolution. Yet, fame and fortune came with their own set of challenges. Behind the scenes, the pressures of constant touring, grueling recording schedules, and interpersonal conflicts took their toll on the band. And Joe, the Eagles would later disband in 1980. But Joe's contributions during this era cemented his place as one of rock's most influential guitarists. His time with the Eagles not only elevated the band to legendary status, but also solidified his own legacy as a key architect of arena rock's golden age. Amid Joe Walsh's meteoric rise to fame, his personal life was struck by a devastating tragedy that would leave an indelible mark on his soul and music. In 1974, Joe and his then-wife Stephanie Rhodes welcomed their daughter, Emma Kristen Walsh, into the world. She was the light of Joe's life, bringing him joy in the midst of the chaos of rock stardom. However, that happiness was tragically short-lived. Later that same year, Emma was involved in a horrific car accident. The injuries she sustained were severe, and despite desperate efforts to save her, Emma passed away that same night. She was just 3 years old. Joe, who was on tour at the time, rushed home upon hearing the news, but nothing could have prepared him for the overwhelming grief that awaited him. The loss of his daughter shattered his world. The death of Emma became a pivotal moment in Joe's life, plunging him into a dark abyss of sorrow and anger. In later interviews, Joe admitted that this tragedy left him feeling lost and deeply disillusioned. He struggled to reconcile the pain of losing his child with the relentless demands of his career and public persona. The grief not only strained his marriage to Stephanie, which eventually fell apart, but it also pushed Joe down a self-destructive path. Unable to cope with the enormity of his loss, Joe turned to alcohol and drugs as a way to numb his pain. His addiction quickly spiraled out of control, becoming a daily battle that threatened to consume him. In interviews years later, Joe described this period as one of profound anger, not just toward the world, but also toward himself and even God. The emptiness he felt seeped into every aspect of his life, clouding his relationships and his music. Despite the depths of his despair, Joe channeled some of his grief into his work. He composed the Song for Emma as a heartfelt tribute to his daughter. The haunting melody and deeply personal lyrics reflect the raw, unfiltered emotions of a father mourning the loss of his child. It remains one of Joe's most poignant pieces, resonating with listeners who have faced their own experiences of heartbreak and loss. In an effort to honor Emma's memory, Joe later built a small memorial fountain in North Boulder Park, Colorado, near where the accident occurred. This act of remembrance became a source of solace for him, a way to keep Emma's spirit alive and reflect on the fragility of life. The loss of Emma marked a turning point in Joe's life, shaping the man and artist he would become. While the grief drove him into a destructive cycle of addiction, it also became a source of deep introspection and raw vulnerability in his music. This tragic chapter of his life serves as both a cautionary tale of loss and a testament to the enduring love a father has for his child. It is a reminder that behind the fame and the legendary guitar solos lies a man who has endured unimaginable heartbreak and somehow found the strength to keep going. Joe Walsh's journey through addiction and eventual redemption is as compelling as his legendary guitar solos. For years, Walsh lived the quintessential rock star lifestyle: late nights, wild parties, and endless access to substances that blurred the line between exhilaration and self-destruction. While his creative genius flourished, the cracks in his personal life deepened, and the weight of his unresolved grief and pressures of fame became too much to bear. The loss of his daughter Emma and the relentless demands of his career created a void that Joe sought to fill with alcohol and drugs. His dependency began to take hold during the height of his success with the Eagles in the late 1970s. By the time the Eagles disbanded in 1980, Joe's addiction had spiraled out of control. Without the structure of the band and the stability it provided, his personal and professional life unraveled. Joe's excessive lifestyle became infamous, with stories of trashed hotel rooms and chaotic behavior often making headlines. His relationships with those closest to him, including his peers in the music industry, were strained under the weight of his addiction. His destructive habits isolated him, and his once brilliant career seemed on the verge of collapse. He later admitted that he was drinking and using drugs so heavily that he didn't expect to live much longer. In the early 1990s, Walsh reached his lowest point. His addiction had not only damaged his career, but also threatened his health and relationships. He found himself alienated from many of the people who cared about him. Joe described these years as a haze of self-destruction, with moments of clarity only serving to highlight how far he had fallen. It became clear that if he didn't seek help, he would lose everything, including his life. A pivotal moment in Joe's redemption came during the Eagles' 1994 reunion. Bandmates Glenn Frey, Don Henley, and Timothy B. Schmidt staged an intervention, urging Joe to get clean. Their support and the promise of a second chance with the band gave him the motivation he needed to confront his demons. The intervention marked the beginning of Joe's journey toward sobriety, a battle he later described as one of the hardest things he'd ever faced. Joe committed himself to recovery, entering rehab and making significant changes to his lifestyle. It wasn't an easy road. The process required immense strength and a willingness to confront the pain and trauma he had tried so long to suppress. However, for the first time in years, Joe began to find clarity and purpose. Sobriety not only saved Joe's life, but also revitalized his career and relationships. He returned to the Eagles as a renewed man, contributing to their successful reunion and tour. The band's hit album, Hell Freezes Over, marked a triumphant comeback for both Joe and the group, solidifying his place as one of rock's most iconic figures. Joe's commitment to sobriety extended beyond his personal life. He became deeply involved in recovery programs, using his story to inspire others battling addiction. He has been candid about his struggles, often sharing his journey in interviews and public appearances. His honesty about his past and his ongoing efforts to remain sober have made him a beacon of hope for those facing similar challenges. In addition to working with recovery programs, Joe has also supported various charities and initiatives focused on addiction awareness and treatment. His involvement demonstrates not only his gratitude for the second chance he's been given, but also his desire to give back and help others find their own paths to healing. Joe's story of addiction and redemption is a powerful testament to the human capacity for resilience and change. It serves as a reminder that even at rock bottom, there is hope for a better future. His openness about his struggles and his willingness to confront his past have inspired countless fans and individuals battling their own demons. Through it all, Joe has remained grateful for the support of his bandmates, his loved ones, and the fans who stuck by him during his darkest moments. His journey is a poignant example of how personal redemption can lead to a richer, more fulfilling life. and how the lessons learned from hardship can be used to uplift and empower others. By the early 1990s, Joe Walsh's future in music seemed uncertain. However, the 1994 reunion of the Eagles marked not just a comeback for the band, but a personal rebirth for Walsh. Dubbed the Hell Freezes Over Tour, a cheeky nod to their previous statements that a reunion would only happen under impossible circumstances, the event was both a commercial and critical triumph. It provided Walsh with the stability and purpose he needed to channel his newfound sobriety into creativity. Walsh's return to the Eagles not only reminded fans of his unparalleled guitar skills, but also showcased his emotional and artistic growth. Songs like Hotel California and Life in the Fast Lane were infused with the same energy that had defined their original success, but now carried the weight of life experience and resilience. The tour was accompanied by a live album, also titled Hell Freezes Over, which topped charts and proved the timeless appeal of their music. The Eagles' comeback showed that Walsh was more than just a guitar virtuoso. He was a survivor who had fought his demons and come out stronger. His renewed energy and focus revitalized the band's dynamic, proving that even after decades, they still had the ability to connect with audiences around the world. Joe Walsh's influence on rock music is undeniable. Known for his distinctive tone, innovative techniques, and an ability to fuse emotion with technical mastery, Walsh has inspired countless musicians across generations. His work with the Eagles, the James Gang, and as a solo artist has become a blueprint for blending rock's raw energy with melodic sophistication. Walsh's guitar solo on Hotel California, in particular, has been hailed as one of the greatest in rock history. Its haunting yet intricate composition continues to be studied and admired by musicians and fans alike. Guitarists from diverse genres, from hard rock to country, often cite Walsh as a key influence in their own musical journeys. His solo albums, such as But Seriously Folks and the hit single Life's Been Good, showcase his ability to balance introspection with humor, a rare gift that has endeared him to listeners. Through his career, Walsh has demonstrated that rock music can be both entertaining and deeply personal, a philosophy that has shaped his enduring legacy. Beyond his legendary recordings, Walsh has taken an active role in mentoring younger artists. He frequently collaborates with emerging musicians, sharing his wisdom and encouraging them to explore their creative boundaries. His down-to-earth personality and willingness to connect with fans and peers alike have made him a beloved figure in the music industry. Walsh's influence extends to modern artists who credit his pioneering work as a cornerstone of their sound. From guitarists in up-and-coming rock bands to solo acts in other genres, many acknowledge the impact of his unique approach to songwriting and performance. One notable example of his mentorship is his work with Foo Fighters' Dave Grohl, who has often expressed his admiration for Walsh's artistry. Their collaborations, such as their performance at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, highlight Walsh's ability to transcend eras and remain relevant in a constantly evolving musical landscape. Even in semi-retirement, Walsh remains a magnetic presence on stage. His performances with the Eagles and solo shows are a masterclass in rock excellence, filled with electrifying energy and heartfelt sincerity. Walsh's ability to connect with audiences, whether through his iconic riffs or candid humor, keeps fans coming back for more. In recent years, Walsh has also launched initiatives to give back to the community, such as his Vets Aid concerts benefiting veterans and their families. This annual event not only raises funds, but also reinforces Walsh's commitment to using his platform for meaningful causes. Joe Walsh's comeback story is more than just a tale of musical success. It is a testament to resilience, growth, and the enduring power of art. From the turbulent highs of his early career to the profound lows of personal tragedy, Walsh has turned his struggles into anthems of survival. His music continues to resonate, proving that great art often emerges from the deepest challenges. Today, Walsh stands as a beacon of hope and creativity, a living legend whose influence spans decades. Whether inspiring young musicians, thrilling fans with live performances, or giving back to the community, Walsh's legacy remains firmly rooted in the hearts of rock enthusiasts around the globe. His journey serves as a reminder that even after the storm, there's always a chance for redemption and a brighter future. Joe Walsh's life is more than just the tale of a rock legend. It's a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit. From the electrifying heights of fame to the devastating depths of personal loss and addiction, Walsh's journey reveals the raw realities behind the glamour of rock and roll. It's a story of transformation. A man who faced unimaginable heartbreak, confronted his darkest demons, and emerged not only as a survivor, but as a beacon of hope for millions. His music, with its iconic riffs and heartfelt lyrics, has transcended decades, connecting generations of fans and musicians alike. Songs like Life's Been Good and Hotel California remind us of his genius, but it's his personal journey that inspires us most. Walsh has shown that even in the face of overwhelming tragedy, redemption is always within reach, proof that it's never too late to rewrite your story. Through his dedication to sobriety, mentorship of younger artists, and advocacy for causes close to his heart, Walsh has cemented his legacy not just as a rock icon, but as a compassionate and enduring figure in the music world. His life is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is light, and that the power of resilience can lead to the most extraordinary comebacks. What do you think about Joe Walsh's remarkable journey? Has his music or story inspired you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories of music's greatest legends. What do you get when you combine rock star fame, unimaginable heartbreak, and a battle with addiction? You get a life story as gripping as the music it inspired. Joe Walsh, the legendary guitarist behind some of rock's most iconic riffs, has lived a life of incredible highs and devastating lows. From the electrifying solos that defined Hotel California with the Eagles to the personal tragedies that nearly derailed his career, Walsh's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. But this story isn't just about music. It's about loss, redemption, and the sheer resilience of the human spirit. How did Joe Walsh rise from the ashes of his darkest moments to become one of the most celebrated figures in rock history? Stick around as we uncover the untold story of a man whose life and music have left an indelible mark on generations. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Hollywood stories. See you next time.